Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Giovanni and I'm an Italian artist, and this is the last part of the series where I design Pokemon for each country of the world. You can find all the videos in this playlist that I'm gonna link in the description. And before starting the video, if you want to suggest more ideas for more Pokemon for this country or for others, write everything in the comment. So last time we saw the legendary Pokemon for Mexico, and we are at the end of this journey. As I said, this is the last part of this series. We will see all the designs I made and we will read the dex entries of all of them, and after this I think we will move to another country, I don't know. But before that, a little bit of Mexican history. So Mexico is a country in North America and Central America. It was home of a lot of different populations, like the Olmecs, the population of Teotihuacan, the Zapotec, the Mayan, the Toltec, the Aztec. There's a lot of one I can't pronounce. And after the discovery of America, in 1517 Spanish started to colonize it, and we all know what happened when Europeans arrived there. However, in the 1810 it obtained independence from... No, sorry. In 1821 it obtained independence from Spain. Mexico is also home of one of the New World Wonders, which is the Pyramid of Chichen Itza. And now let's see what other Pokemon could live in Mexico. I imagine maybe in the green areas Tropius, Aulacha, obviously, because it is based on Mexican wrestler, Cacnea and Cacturne, Ekans and Arbok, Bonsly and Sudowoodo, and also I imagine Epini, Chansey and Blissey. Maybe next to the water, Wooper and Quagsire and Clocksire, and maybe even more form of them, because they're based on Axolotl, which is an endemic species of Mexico, and it has a lot of different color variations, so it could be cool to have a lot of different Woopers and with different evolutions. So Mudkip, Marshtomp and Swampert, Lotad, Lombre and Ludicolo, Tentacool and Tentacruel, and maybe also Flamigo. For the ancient temple areas, I think we could find Riolu and Lucario, Machop, Machoke and Machamp, maybe with a regional form, Duskull, Dusclops and Dusknoir, definitely with a new regional form too. In the desert areas, definitely Sandshrew and Sandslash, Maractus, Dwebble and Crustle. And for some reason I also imagine Axew, Fraxur and Axorus, maybe also Mimikyu with a new form, obviously also Fuecoco, Crocalor and Skeledirge, and definitely also the Unown. And for even more Pokemon, maybe suggest them in the comments. Now let's finally see the Mexican Pokemon I made. Also remember to feel free to tell me if you like or not the names and the types I choose. Starting with the grass starter Pokemon Quaharv, from Quail and Harvest, the Quail Pokemon, grass type. This little Pokemon is very calm, being unable to fly, he loves walking in the fields and sleeping in the shade of the trees. It evolves into Agrivole, from Agriculture and Volatile, the Quail Pokemon, grass type. This Pokemon has been fundamental to human agriculture over the centuries, although they were very often the cause of plant disease. And that at the end evolves into Xipestilex, from Xipetotec and Pestilence, inspired by Aztec god of pestilence and agriculture, Xipetotec, the illness Pokemon. grass and poison types. When angered, this Pokémon poisons plants simply by touching them with its toxic wings. Humans began to fear him and treat him cruelly by offering gifts. For the fire starter we have Fuebri from Fuego and Colibri, the bird Pokémon, fire and flying types. The little Fuebri can be seen fluttering in every part of the country, their wings sometimes moving at an imperceptible speed. Their warm body temperature is pleasant to touch. It evolves into Hummingbird from Hummingbird and Burn, the bird Pokémon. Fire and flying types. Unlike their pre-evolution, Hummingbird are much less calm. They tend to face anyone who gets in front of them by hitting them with a blast of hot air. And then at the end evolves into Huitzuazol from Huitzilopochtli, War and Solar. Inspired by Aztec god of sun and war, Huitzilopochtli, the warrior Pokémon. Fire and fighting type. Huitzuazol are powerful warriors who fought alongside humans in wars. In addition to their great speed, the fire they generate can reach the temperatures of the sun. And for the water type starter we have Jagwade from Jaguar and Jade, the feline Pokémon, water type. Small white Jagwade can be spotted swimming in water, preferring salty ones. In fact, often when seen in other environments, you can smell their salty smell. That evolves into Storfelin from Storm and Felin, the feline Pokémon. Storfelin are very brute, aggressive and often irritable Pokémon. It is not recommended to touch the water in which they are bathing because it could be charged with electricity. And then at the end evolves into Tlalonami from Tlaloc and Tsunami, inspired by Aztec god of sea and storms, Tlaloc, the storm Pokémon, water and electric types. Tlalonami are associated with storms, tsunamis and strong thunderstorms. When psyched, it is extremely inadvisable to approach them, or it could be fatal. These were all the starter Pokémon. I think I mispronounced every single word. Let me know which one will you choose, and now let's see the regional Pokémon of Mexico. Starting with Mexican Wooper, the blackfish Pokémon, water and dark types. In Mexico, there are many varieties of Wooper. The rarest is without a doubt the black one, almost impossible to find as it lives in the depths of the waters of the caves. It evolves into Deepsire from Deep and Siren, inspired by Melanoid Axolotl, the black light Pokémon, water and dark types. These large Pokémon are able to absorb light and convert it into darkness, which they use to hide from unwanted eyes. Then we have Mexican Nosepass, the compass Pokémon, ground type. Mexican Nosepass is often mistaken for many of the statues of ancient civilization. Its magnetic nose points only in two directions, north and south, and it seems it was used as a reference by local tribes to find their way home. It evolves into Probopass North Face and Probopass South Face, inspired by Mesoamerican civilization statues. The Guardian Pokémon, ground type. It seems that Mexican Nosepass, depending on the place in which it evolves, can take on two forms, used by local tribes as guardians. Then we have Mexican Badiou, the bad Pokémon, grass and ghost types. Little Badiou are every child's favorite Pokémon, as they're friendly and kind. They evolve into Sympazelia from Sempasuchil and Roselia, the blossom Pokémon, grass and ghost types. When Badiou evolves into Sympazelia, it shows all the beauty of its flower, loved and associated with the memory of the deceased. Despite their gentle character, they can be skilled fighter. And that with a leaf stone evolves into Sempasserade, from Sempasuchil and Masquerade, inspired by marigolds, the bouquet Pokémon grass and ghost types. Sempasserade is the most frequently seen Pokémon during the Day of the Dead. It seems that its flower can attract the souls of the deceased, and if they are angry, their flowers begin to wither. We have Mexican Tinkating, the Stonesmith Pokémon, dark and ground types. This Pokémon crushes stone and mixes them with mud and clay to forge its staff. It evolves into Mexican Tinkatuff, the staff Pokémon, dark and ground types. These Pokémon fight other rock and ground types Pokémon in order to find more materials with which to forge their stuff. And then at the end evolves into Mexican Tinkaton, inspired by Maquahuitl and Mesoamerican warriors. The staff Pokémon, dark and ground types. Tinkaton's favorite preys are the Nosepass and Probopass, whose earthen bodies are the perfect material for their stuff, being strong and nearly indestructible. We have Mexican Girafarig, inspired by Alebries, the long neck Pokémon, electric and psychic types. The electrical energy absorbed by its antennas is transformed into bright colored light. Along with its evolution, it is often present during city festivals. And finally, we have Mexican Yamask, the spirit Pokémon, ghost and fairy type. It seems that Mexican Yamask takes the skull abandoned by the Duskull and keeps them as their most precious treasure. Perhaps a symbol of a sort of friendship between these two Pokémon. It evolves into Santa Verigus from Santa Muerte, Calavera and Cofagrigus, inspired by Calaveras and the Santa Muerte. The celebration Pokémon, ghost and fairy types, worshipped since ancient times as a symbol of death and peace. They can be cruel or kind. Legends say that they collect the souls of the deceased by placing them inside skulls. So these were all the regional Pokémon of Mexico. Let me know which one is your favorite, and now let's see all the new Pokémon. Starting with Crimune from Cry and Muneka, the doll Pokémon, water and ghost types. At night you can hear the cries of these little Pokémon who are lost and try to call their mother. With a water stone, it evolves into Moyorona from Mon and Yorona, inspired by Yorona, the Moon Bride Pokémon, ghost and water types. Legends speak of the spirit of drowned woman who became this Pokémon, who scream until anyone who hears them faints, doing everything they can to protect their children. Then we have Scribats from Scribe and Bats, inspired by Mayan scribe god Humbats, the scribe Pokémon, psychic type. It seems that Scribats knows the world's oldest secrets. They can often be seen meditating on mountain peaks. We also have Water from Water and Otter, the Otter Pokémon, dark type. Water tries to be strong and fearless, but in fact their character becomes humble when afraid. Its tail hand is often used to steal food. It evolves into Awitter from Awitzotl and Monster, inspired by Awitzotl, the beast Pokémon, dark type. Awitter is much more ferocious than its pre-evolution, showing itself as a merciless beast in the darkest part of the forest. Its handed tail is often used to harm its enemies. Then we have Sinnas from Sin and Piernas, the bad omen Pokémon, flying and dark types. These little Pokémon tend to avoid human contact, as they are annoyed by them. It evolves into Vampucci from Vampire e Tlauelpucci. Inspired by Tlauelpucci, the Bad Omen Pokemon, Flying and Dark types. It seems that these Pokemon are bloodthirsty and are also capable of splitting their body in half. Moving on, we have Waxina from Chihuahua and Toxina, the Chihuahua Pokemon, Poison type. This little dog, although it seems harmless, is in fact extremely toxic, like your ex is. It evolves into El Diablo from El Diablo and Chihuahua, the Chihuahua Pokemon, poison and fighting types. Evolving into El Diablo, it becomes arrogant and tends to only want to fight. And then at the end evolves into El Chupacabra. Madonna, my... At the end it evolves into El Chupacabra from El and Chupacabra and Acido, inspired by Chihuahua, Chupacabra and Mexican wrestler, the Chupacabra Pokemon, poison and fighting types. These large Pokemon are often used in clandestine battles. Their large claws and barbed spiky tail are extremely acidic, capable of melting even the most resistant metals. And finally, we have my favorite one, Dragual, from Dragon and Nagual. Inspired by the Nahual or Nagual, the familiar Pokemon, Dragon type. Dragual are considered guardian angels, and when they find a friend, they never leave him again. It is believed that this Pokemon has multiple evolutions, but today there is still no proof of this. And so these were all the new Pokemons. Let me know which one you like the most, and now let's finally see the Mexican legendaries Pokemon. Starting with Quetzalana from Quetzalcoatl and Mañana, inspired by Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, the Morning Star Pokemon, flying and fire types. According to legends, Quetzalana is, together with its twin, the origin of fire and is associated with the morning star. According to an ancient prophecy, one day he will wake up to fight against Tezcatlipoca again. Moving to Tezcatlipoca from Tezcatlipoca and Noche, inspired by Aztec god Tezcatlipoca, the evening star Pokemon, dark and fire types. According to legends, I can't pronounce it. Tezcatlipoca is, together with its twin, the origin of fire and is associated with the evening star. According to an ancient prophecy, one day he will wake up to fight against Quetzalana again. And finally, we have Ixluna, White Moon and Blood Moon forms, from Ixquick and Ixchel, Moon and Luna, inspired by Mayan goddesses of the moon Ixchel and Ixquick, the moon rabbit Pokemon, just normal type. Ixluna seems to come directly from the moon and seems to be its earthly personification, capable of changing shape during the blood moon, and appears to be the origin on the phenomenon that mutated various other Pokemon. So these were all the legendary Pokemon I made. Let me know which one is your favorite, and this is also the end of this video. I really hope you liked it, and as I said, you will find all the videos in the playlist I link in the description. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said earlier, let me know if you have any other ideas for more Pokemon for this country or for others. Please put a like and subscribe to see more, and I see you next time. Bye everyone.